Ellen Gerneaux Woods writes poetry and memoir. Her book, Warriors in Transition, a memoir in 28 stories, was published in 2014, and her poetry appears in print and online publications, including the Marin Poetry Center Anthology, the Bezine, Pudding Magazine, It Is Hot in Here Anthology, Persimmon Tree Magazine, and Poems of Political Protest, an anthology, among others. Her debut chapbook, The Watchful Heart Recedes, will be published, has been published by Finishing Line Press as of December. I just received it the other day. Ellen has won prizes from the Soul Making Keats Literary Competition and the Mendocino Coast Writers Conference, and has curated submissions to Bay Area Generations, a monthly literary competition. She's currently a co-judge for the prose poem category of the Soul Making Keats Literary Competition, and is on the prose editorial staff of the MacGuffin magazine. Ellen lives in Oakland. Please welcome Ellen Woods.
Thank you, everybody. First, I want to thank Sandra for the opportunity to read with my dear friend and talented poet, Elise Kazanjian. I so appreciate the wonderful community you have created at Rivertown Poets, and I'm honored to be here to read my work to you. To begin, I would like to read some poems about the tenderness and tension woven into the mother-daughter bond from my debut chapbook, The Watchful Heart Recedes, which came out earlier this month and can be ordered at Finishing Line Press or Amazon. And someone put it on the chat. I think that was you, Sandra. Thank you so much. The first poem in the chapbook is entitled Monterey Aquarium. As a single mother with joint custody, road trips were a rich way we made new memories. Monterey Aquarium for my daughter. 1. Once we were of the sea, birthed in water. Our gills found our breath. Amphibian, reptile, mammal. 2. Custody schedule. Every other long weekend. We drive south 101 to 156, Monterey. Enter massive doors to the dark walls of lighted tanks. Swarms of jellyfish contract, pulsate, wave their tentacles. Umbrella bell bodies, moon jellies, never leave their tribe. Millions of years, luminescent, emitting the light. 3. Jellies, 98% water. Humans, 72%. What have we lost? September walnut drop. Walnuts lie among leaves, hard, round trip hazards, so many that picking up several doesn't make a dent. Daughter kicks soccer ball, doesn't fall or even notice the black annoyances in her path. Landlord offers a nickel for each one collected. Lil's 8-year-old self recognizes the deal, goes to work, fills the metal pail. In no time, she has 100 walnuts, $5 worth, immediately exchanged for 3 pepperoni slices at the Berkeley Bowl. Single mother, wanting more, I sneak a few into my pocket, sprain my ankle on another, my thoughts on walnut pie. Competitive leanings. In the middle of a conversation, laying out a 12-year-old's explanation of pitching strategy, players' parents rapped, "You, glowing in your white uniform and well-worn cleats. Raise up your arm, mid in hand, catch the ball that comes your way, sent by a sideline teammate. No think fast warning offered. You hardly blink or even notice your natural gift until admirers' applause erupts and you blush. Your comrade scowls. A Mother's Lament was written after Lil joined the army at 18. A Mother's Lament. Asleep in my bed, comforted by down and darkness, I hear your cry. A screech like sudden train brakes. I rise up. Your bed is empty. You no longer live here. I go to the deck, squint at the yard, scan for intruders. No one is there. Instinct propels me. Anybody need help? A bulky mass of fur slinks down the trunk of the ancient redwood. A cat or a raccoon, unwelcome in the tree, fought off by a raucous den of squirrels. The smell of danger triggers impulse to protect the young. They shriek for survival. I look on useless, no one to protect but me. Watchful heart recedes. Lungs expand, fill with shiver of night air. Neighbor's roof edged with amber dawn. Through it together. Thanks for this morning. We got through it together, my 27-year-old daughter texted. Divorce papers filed today. He left 3 years ago. She now in love with a better man. I once inquired when. She reared up like a horse, startled by a moving car, the whites of her eyes revealing it was too much for her, too big. I needed to back off. Until today, she called to ask me to drive her to the courthouse to record the divorce papers prepared in pro per. She climbed in, mute, caffeine driven, fingernails bitten back. The clerk stamped the papers, gave us copies. Lil's jaw was tight. She paced the hallway at the sheriff's office, stood in line, too long, told no, got a mail to Kansas. The wait too long. Our shouts erupted, my voice shrill, hers staccato, until Crystal, blessed Crystal, Riley County, Kansas sheriff's clerk, returned my call. We'll take care of it, hun. We sent it off to Kansas. Mom, Lil said, I'm exhausted. I feel your anxiety. You feel mine. I can't stand it. I want to go home now. Alone, I felt the regret. Old patterns arose from my own losses until she texted. These last 4 poems are about my mother, who was diagnosed with acromegaly, which is a rare pituitary disease where the growth hormone begins re-secreting at around age 40 and causes bone growth in the extremities, hands, feet, and facial structure. Ode to the Dinner Bell for my mother, 1915 to 1919. Your considerable fingers, freshly manicured, clutch the wooden handle. Your wrist flips back and forth, intensely calls us home. Brass cradle, hollow cup, vibrates, uvula claps, resonant call at 6 o'clock. I crouch in my hiding tree, want to stay, want to go, hoping for sustenance. I am flooded with smells, baked potatoes, meatloaf, cherry pie, brass cradle, hollow cup, vibrates, uvula claps, 6:03. Hands make an individual who they are. For Nancy Norman Woods, 1915 to 1990. Her slim fingers grew wide until her wedding ring no longer fit. Acromegaly spoke, uncomfortable surprises. She stitched usefulness to replace the loss. Needle and thread sewed the wayward corners down. Tree of Life found its way into a quilt. Branches from well-worn Boy Scout shirt, leaves and blossoms, scraps from dresses, handmade in rosy viridescent hue. Golden backdrop. Hefted groceries, canned soup, tuna, Wonder Bread, jars of mayo, strawberry jam, peanut butter, Velveeta, frozen peas, boxes of Jell-O, quarts of milk delivered in bottles to the back steps. Checked out library books, drew maps, charts, swirled paintbrushes, crayons, cut paper with precision, wrote letters, cards, always on time, turned pages of goodnight stories, rubbed backs, filled lunchboxes with PB&J, apples, corrected homework with an erasable slate, pushed kids out the door to catch school bus, ironed dresses, shirts, sheets, pillowcases, changed beds, washed clothes and dishes, pushed dry mop, wet mop, vacuum, duster, stirred tuna casserole, iced tea, painted fingernails with clear polish, Girl Scout leader, pinned badges proudly, finger to lips, head shakes, refusing to embolden mouthy sass, inserted key, drove station wagon, left hand signaling exactly 30 yards. Dining room table, end of day, hands in prayer, hushed tones. Distracted. On my deck this morning, I air out the mildew cover, shake the pages of my mother's cookbook. I am saddened by my dearth of memories of this woman who loved me in her way. Distracted, I see too late the green and white flutter taking to the air like butterflies, while I am helpless to their lighting on the yard, in the yard. S&H green stamps, saved deliberately in the back of the cookbook, acquired from the weekly shop at Livingston's Market on 3rd Street, exchanged for plates with red apple pattern, 2 green leaves and green line edging. Plates that served up dinners for her family, where Daddy talked about his day at work. Dinners where I felt her anger and pride in the muscle of her mind, held back, wanting expression, subsumed by her allegiance to her duty as a mother and a housewife. I searched for fallen stamps. Some have melted into damp grass. Others are intact. Gingerbread. Recipes cut from newspaper, placed in a black binder, scotch taped neatly to the page. Tape with a translucent quality, as if insect wings had dried on the paper. Mysterious brown oval at the bottom, like toeless footprints of a curious creature. In pages of never tasted sweets, I finally recognize a dessert that my mind and heart remember. Gingerbread with lemon sauce, in her unforgettable script. Beginning when I was 8, step stool at her side, I measured the dry ingredients into the sifter, the cloudy flour, the aromatic cinnamon and cloves, the pungent ginger. She creams the butter, adds the sugar and the eggs, puts the bowl on the revolving mixer. I poured in the thick brown molasses, added the flour and spices. For the grand finale, I stirred in the cup of hot water. After she greased and floured the pans, I'd pour in the batter. When the timer dinged, she gave me a pot holder to pull out the gingerbread and test it for doneness. I can almost taste the tart sweetness of the faintly yellow sauce made from fresh lemons and powdered sugar. A perfect match for the gingerbread. It dribbled down the sides of the cool cake. I sometimes ran my finger across the icing, got a crumb of the gingerbread with it, licked it off when she wasn't looking. The black binder, a treasure, a time with my mother, talking not required. Comfort reigned. I believed she was happy to have me at her side. To close, I'd like to read a haiku and a tanka written recently after an unforgettable weekend, reconnecting with the love from my past. We were out of touch for 50 years until he finally tracked me down and we began where we left off. These are for Richard. Haiku. Sitting next to you, sitting close to you, listening to Vivaldi. Heat steams rainy panes. Tanka. Flat tire halts movement. You step in to fill the need. I am dizzy with awe. Decades self-sufficient. Kala unfolding. Late spring. Thank you.